Hello, everyone. I'm so happy you're here with me today. In this short talk, I want to share an idea that I think many of us feel but don't always talk about. It's about success and the strange feelings that come with it. This is not the original TED Talk, but a simpler version of Why Doesn't Success Bring Happiness? That I've rewritten to make it easier to understand. Today I'll be your speaker, just like Laura Gassner Otting standing on the red TED stage, sharing a story, asking questions, and maybe helping you see your own journey in a new way. So, if you're ready, let's begin. Have you ever done something you weren't sure you could actually do? It feels exciting, full of energy, and truly amazing. Success feels kind of wonderful, right? The hard work you did opened more doors than you ever imagined. But that work also showed you even more doors you didn't know were there. And maybe, just maybe, when you looked through those new doors, you thought to yourself, I think I want more. Instead of giving you peace or happiness, success gave you a faster life, a bigger hunger, and even bigger goals. And with that faster life, that bigger hunger, and those bigger goals, you also found uncertainty, self-doubt, anxiety, and stress. Success is wonderful, but sometimes it also feels like a kind of hell. Maybe success is something we could call wonder hell. In my 20-year career in executive search, companies hired me to find and bring in some of the most successful people in the world. That might sound like a difficult job, but actually, something made it easier. Even though those people were already very successful, they still picked up the phone when I called. They were calling me back. We often think that once we reach success, everything will get easier. But why doesn't it feel better? Why doesn't success bring happiness? And why does it so often feel like wonder hell? I had my own wonder hell moment not long after my last book came out. I had spent the previous few weeks living on airplanes. I had fallen asleep in 20 different hotel beds and woken up in 10 different time zones. At the moment I realized what was happening, I was sitting 35,000 feet in the air. I had already traveled 200 miles, and I still had 200 miles to go. The only thing I knew for sure was that I was somewhere between the blurry past and the blurry future, and that moment, the present, was me sitting upright in a middle seat on a red-eye flight, feeling completely and totally exhausted. Launching my book in a successful way meant I had to be brave. I didn't really know what I was doing, but I still set huge goals for myself. I made a lot of promises with my words, promises that my hard work and energy had to make real. I spent those weeks living on nothing but coffee, protein bars, and adrenaline. That shaky, stomach-turning fear mixed with excitement. And you know what? It worked. This thing that I had worked on for weeks, months, and even years, it worked. I was moving closer and closer to success, and it felt like my inner GPS was saying, "You've arrived." And I said to myself, I know, right? But at the same time, I was also moving toward burnout. I was so tired. Really, deeply tired. And somewhere in that mix of success and exhaustion, something in my brain changed. The part of me that usually stays humble just disappeared. All I could hear was a small voice inside whispering, "This thing has legs." This thing has legs. You might recognize this moment as the time when the burden of your potential walks into your mind, opens its backpack and says, "Hey, what do you have for me?" That potential now puts its full weight on your shoulders and expects you to carry it with you all the time. That's your wonder hell. It begins when you realize your idea has promise, that it could be bigger, and that maybe you were meant to do more. That's the moment when your ego enters the chat. What comes next is a wave of strong emotions. People call them necessary evils. The stress, the pressure, the fear. And we're told they're just part of chasing big dreams. So we try to survive them. We wrestle with that voice in our head. That keeps going back and forth. I can handle this. I can't handle this. We think success is the end of the road. That once we reach it, we've made it. But Wonderhell teaches us something different. It shows us that success is not the final stop. It's just a turning point along the way. When I understood that I wasn't at the end of my journey, just in the middle, I started doing my homework. I read all the books, the ones that told me to crush it, to lean in, and to 10x everything. I also read the other kind of books, the ones that told me to stop apologizing and wash my face. And honestly, what I saw on social media wasn't much better. There were the slicked back guys, the hustle influencers flying around to sign their next big deal. And then there were the peaceful, nature-loving influencers telling me to follow my passion, to find happiness by breathing into the right. What? What even is an energy crystal? Those things didn't work for me. They didn't work for the thousands of leaders. I helped during big life and career changes in my 20 years in executive search, and they definitely didn't work for the nearly 100 people I personally interviewed to try to understand how to get out of Wonderhell. These people included Olympic medalists, startup founders, people who broke the glass ceiling, and regular people, people like me and people like you. Each of them told me about a moment when they did, something they never thought was possible. Each one of them also told me that they had felt imposter syndrome, self-doubt, fear, uncertainty, envy, exhaustion, and even burnout. But every single one of them made it through, and they became stronger because of it. So how did they do it? There were 3 things. First, they accepted their ambition. Do you know why people who already work inside a company often leave if they don't get a promotion? It's because just by going through the interview process, they start to imagine themselves in that new role. They wear the clothes of that position. They think in a new way. And once they see that new version of themselves, they can't unsee it. And just like them, once you see this new version of yourself, you can't forget it either. Every time we dream about success, even before it happens, we start to imagine a version of ourselves that we never saw before. A version that seems more powerful, more possible, and more real than we ever believed. There is the version of you from before that moment. And then there is the version of you after. Second, the mixed emotions that come with this moment. The good, the bad, and even the hard ones are not problems. They are invitations. For each person I spoke to, the ones who had done well in Wonderhell, they all understood something important. These uncomfortable feelings weren't just a normal part of the journey. They were actually helpful. These feelings were not enemies. They were useful friends. So these people did something powerful. They stopped. They took time to reflect. They listened to what their emotions were trying to say. They changed how they thought about these feelings. Because most of us think we have to ignore the pain. We believe we should stay quiet, push it down, and just keep going. But that idea is wrong. And that lie is stopping us from growing inside our own Wonderhell. Because Wonderhell is not just fear. It's also excitement. It's not just stress. It's also joy. It's not just confusion. It's also possibility. It's the mix of everything you feel when you see a new version of yourself and realize that you are the only one who can decide who to become. And that means changing the voice in your head. Instead of saying, "You've never done this before," be careful. You let it say, "You've never done this before. That's why you should try." Wonderhell is a sign that you're on the right path. A path toward growth. A path toward new opportunities. And third, Wonderhell always wants you to come back. We think it will go away after one big moment. We tell ourselves, Just get through this scary part. Then things will be calm. We think Wonder Hell is one short, temporary challenge, a single moment of stress that we just need to survive. But it's not. For everyone I spoke to, what came after one Wonder Hell was another one, and then another one, and if they were lucky, even more. Their journeys were filled with both lessons and losses. It's a cycle that keeps going. There's no big finish line. Instead, there are many small ones along the way. Now, I'm not telling you to suck it up, and I'm not telling you to get tough. What I'm saying is this. If we see success as a final destination, then we're also saying that our personal growth has a limit. And when we do that, we take away all the wonder and leave ourselves only with the hell. So what if we changed the way we define success? What if we saw it not as an end point, but as a waypoint, a stop along the way? What if we allowed ourselves to sit with the discomfort that comes with growth, instead of trying to escape it? What if success isn't a finish line, but a door? A door that opens up our idea of what's possible. And what if we stopped trying to run away from Wonder Hell, and instead learned to expect it, prepare for it, learn from it, grow from it, and even thrive in it? What if Wonder Hell isn't the beginning of our breakdown, but the start of our breakthrough? Wonder Hell invites us to face our discomfort. It pushes us to grow beyond our limits. It asks us to accept the new potential inside us. So, what will you do with this gift? The gift that is the burden of your potential. What will you do the next time you find yourself in Wonder Hell? What if we stop seeing success as the final destination and instead see it as a doorway? One that helps us understand what's truly possible. What if we stop fearing Wonder Hell and stop trying to simply survive it? And instead, what if we choose to look forward to it, to prepare for it, to learn from it, to grow from it, and to succeed inside it? What if Wonder Hell is not the start of a breakdown, but the beginning of a breakthrough? Because Wonder Hell invites us to dive into our discomfort. It pushes us to stretch our boundaries. It calls us to accept the new, stronger version of who we can be. So, I'll ask you again, what will you do with the gift that is the burden of your potential? What will you do the next time you find yourself in Wonder Hell? Thank you for listening. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more English learning content.